Welcome to Elevate with Brigitte. I'm your host, Brigitte Adofwe Japan. You know something? It's been 3 years, 4 months, or 76 months. I started this podcast, Elevate with Brigitte podcast. Congratulations to us for reaching this far. You know, you have listened, followed, and read the show, and even shared it with your loved ones. Congratulations, and I am happy for us. You have tried your best. I appreciate this effort towards the podcast. I know some started listening to this podcast 3 years ago, others 2 years ago, whilst others just this year. Whatever you started or wherever you started listening to the podcast, I want to ask you this. Have you started working on your dreams yet? Or you are waiting for the perfect time to see results? Will you love to share the transformation that has happened in your life for the number of years or the number of times you have listened to Elevate with Bridget? Will you love to share it with me? Yeah, so starting this podcast, I experienced some stereotypes that must stop me on the way. It made me think that am I worthy to be sharing this motivation, sharing these tips to help others to achieve their dreams despite the challenges they face? But this didn't stop me from moving. No, you can do it too. We are different. We can't compare ourselves, but the idea of this too is to encourage you to keep on moving. I know sometimes we listen to things, we read things, but sometimes we don't work on it. We intentionally buy books to change our life, especially personal development books to change our life, but it's like we read it for reading's sake. We don't change anything. But I am here to encourage you that anywhere you have reached on my podcast, Elevate with Bridget, whether you started listening to it 3 years ago and still time is moving and you are not done anything yet, or even 2 years, a year ago, or even this year, I am telling you that you can do it too. Your dreams have to work. You have to begin it anyway. That's why I brought a book called Begin Anyway. Since I was writing something about my episode, usually I write show notes just so that I don't forget, just as a pointers. Then this came in mind. Why don't I encourage you on this? It's 3 years now in the industry. When I say in the industry, in the podcast industry where I share personal development tips, motivation, educational tips to help you achieve your dream despite the challenges you might face around you. So I am always eager to help you turn your dreams into reality while fighting challenges. Whether you have gained anything from this podcast, be it the knowledge, the skills, the experience you have learned here on this podcast. My sole reason is that you work on your dream. So when you listen to this podcast, whether the sole reason is to tune in and change your life so that your goals or your dreams will be accomplished, or whether you are listening to this episode for listening's sake, I know you have a dream. You have a dream at heart which you think you want to bring to the world, but you feel like you can't do it. You feel like you can't move on. I don't want you to be listening for listening's sake, but upgrade and transform your life. I believe in you. I believe in your dreams and your goals that you are going to make it work. You are going to turn it around. As we move ahead to continue and dive further to the next years, of Elevate with Brigitte. We are 3 years, we are growing. We are trying our best to be motivated, to be determined, to be disciplined, to move forward, starting a podcast, continue with this momentum up to this time. It's not easy, but I would love to see your dream come to work. I would love to see that this dream you have been fighting for, listening to every episode on Elevate with Bridget or even on other podcasts, just to keep your goals, your dream working, you have to start. So as we move further, I will need you to be motivated, upgrade, and transform your life. If you enjoyed this short episode, I would love you to follow the show, rate the show, and share it with a loved one you think it can help them. Thank you and see you in the next episode.